So guys, we're back with Gerry Burns. He's giving us a part 2 today to kind of give us a sneak peek at his kind of Sherlock Holmes mind brain gym kind of thing with how he goes through 2021 free money posts now. So how he started to think about that, and he'll kind of give us the behind the scenes. So Gerry, thank you very much.
Well,
And
thanks for having me.
Control, I think so. You go for it.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, thanks for having me back. And this is by far my most requested post every year. I need to get this up pretty soon. And all it is my attempt to reverse engineer the tax code to figure out how much money I can earn for free in a given year. Sure.
And can you go back up to that standard deduction and kind of explain, you said that's the government allows you that much money and assumes that you need at least that much money to survive. Is that kind of?
Yes, that's kind of like the baseline for two people, right? And that's why if I come up here and I look at, say, this is with no kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, let me just jump up here. And the standard deduction for a married couple is the same. Two people, you're married, and it's assumed you're going to need at least that to live on. So now we come down here, the only difference is now we're talking about that couple and they have one kid. So the baseline is $25,100. And I always start, since we have one child, I start with, married, filing jointly. So if maybe I should scroll down here. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. How does that look? Yeah. Does that look okay to you guys?
Yep.
Okay, so, yeah, here we have it. That's the standard deduction, $25,100 next year, 2021. And right here is the tax credit. So basically, my child's gonna, I will get a $2,000 tax credit. So that means when I owe $2,000, it will be wiped out. So the question is, how much money can I earn thanks to that credit? And it appears that it's $19,983. You can kind of, if you'd like to look at this, you can see the math here in the formula. So that means my total free money for 2021 will be $45,083, okay? So basically what I do every year is I run this calculation for the various filing statuses with up to 5 kids. And it's kind of shocking. It's great to see these numbers because it gives you parameters and it gives you first of all, you know where your taxation rate kicks in. I know that after this amount, 45,000 and change, that any income after that will come in at 12%. That's what I'm going to pay 12% on it because I'm now in the 12% tax bracket, which is not too high. You might want to take some money out at that rate. But further down, I always put these tables at the bottom of the post. The question is, let's say you wanted to pull more income out or you want to do a Roth IRA conversion. I mean, you took some IRA money and you wanted to make it a Roth. Well, this remaining 12% tax bracket lets me know that I have $61,000 and change before I go to the next tax bracket, which is 22%. Frankly, that's a little too rich for my blood. I try to keep it within the 0% to 12% parameters. And when you figure out your free money plus the remaining 12% tax bracket, you see it's $106,150. So in my case, if I were to take out enough income to get to that level, which would be a lot of money for places I like to live, Mexico, South Georgia, it'd be a ton of money. I would owe $7,328 income tax, federal. Okay, but I know that I'm probably not going to take out that much money. I might consider doing a massive Roth IRA conversion if the market were way down. But I'm making decisions knowing what my tax rate is, and I can kind of determine. I like to call it my tax pain threshold. If I won't be complaining in April 15th because I know more or less what it's going to be. And you'll notice, I'll just run through this briefly. And then we have the credit element. That's what, the child tax credit. There are other credits you might qualify for, but this is just a basic one that most people are familiar with. And those are the two components of the free money, just that.
Okay.
Okay.
And you looked at, so I heard you say the child tax credit, and I see here $2,000. But so can you walk through the equation that gets us at 19,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
This gets us every time, right? So basically the 10% tax bracket is $19,900.
Okay.
Okay. If you have earned income, beyond that 25,100 we're looking at over here, now you're in the 10% bracket. So that means 10% of 19,900 is 1,990, right?
Okay.
So basically the $2,000 credit is going to cover what I owe in the 10% bracket, which is 1,990.
Gotcha.
I'm actually left a little bit more money. I have $10 more of credit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all this is showing. I'm going to get that much in free money right here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just showing the remainder of the credit, that $10. And I divide it by 0.12 because I'm in the 12% tax bracket.
Gotcha. Thank you very
And
much.
that, yes, if you're confused on this, that just tells me you're normal, you're human. This stuff, I get questions about this all the time. And it's trying to explain math, like off the top of your head. I'm not a math teacher.
I don't envy you, and I wouldn't be able to do it again. I would always just refer people to the video and be
Yeah,
like, go watch it.
people think I'm some tax wizard or something. I'm not at all. This
Well,
is very basic stuff, and it's like every year I do it because I have to refresh in my memory how to do this.
Okay. So then you have those numbers off to the right, the married filing jointly, the 10%, 12%, 22% numbers.
Oh, yeah. I think those are the end of the income. That's what I did for myself, just to have a reference point. And I generally don't need the end of this. I generally, the credit doesn't go into the 22% bracket. In a few cases, it does. And the way you can tell that is, you see how this is 106, 106, 106. Yep. And then with 5, this is 109. Mm-hmm. This person actually, their credits carry them all the way through the 22% bracket. And they even got some money back at that level. So that's just my crazy man math there. I think what a lot of people would find interesting, you'll just notice the credit amount goes up. That's just essentially because there's now 2 child tax credits, 3, let me go back. The 4,000 there, that's two children. 6,000, that's 3. That's all that's happening here.
Okay, gotcha.
8,000. All right. So it's pretty basic, but taxes aren't intuitive, so it's vastly confusing to people. Mm-hmm. And I hear all the CPAs laughing as I say that, if there's a CPA.
Oh my gosh, but most of us don't even think about our taxes because you look at, this is at least, it simplifies it somewhat, but when you look at all these numbers, people are like, I don't know, well, my tax person will do it. But if you plan ahead of time, like you're saving thousands of dollars, so it is worth getting a basic understanding of it.
Yeah, and just to recap, the reason I do this, and we talked about this in the last video, is that let's say you had $100,000 as a household. Well, that if both people working were to add to their various tax advantage counts, the 403B, 457, IRA, or whatever's available to you, if you're able to drive your income below that $45,000 mark, you're effectively going to be paying no income tax. Right. If you can't get it that low, the closer you get to that 45,000 amount, the less you'll pay. And that's for a family of 3. So just find out what your free money number is, and from there you can make an informed decision.
Awesome. All right. I didn't mean to mess with your flow. So if you wanted to go down and tell us more about what you have going on in the bottom half here.
I guess if someone comes across these charts and they're trying to figure out how does this apply to them, the first chart is basically people who are, there's no kids involved, singled or married filing separately. And you'll notice those are all the same. And then 2 married people, there's no kids. Then the next group is just married filing jointly with kids. Okay. The next one is a head of household. This could be like I have a relative Her husband passed away, and she has 2 kids. So she's not like, it's a special filing status in a sense. You just get a bigger standard deduction than you would as a single person because you're responsible for children. So this is, I always run this number to her every year, so she knows what her numbers are. So that's what that one is. And then at the bottom here, this might not apply to many people. This is married filing separately with kids. So I don't know how I would use that. You know, if you fall in that category, this would mean something to you. That's what you're trying to do. So like I said, I always do it from my perspective because I'm going to be the one using this, but it just happens that a lot of people are in very similar perspective or situation. They just might have more kids.
So did you just sit down and figure this out on your own? Did you sit down with your tax, like, did you have an accountant that sat with you and figured it out the first time, or you just went with it?
You know, actually, I was at my in-laws' house on the computer doing something, and I kind of figured out my number, and I said, well, wait, what about for 2 people? And I just started, it just like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And I was really into it. My mind was really sharp on this. And I just was verifying the numbers, and I realized, wow, this would be useful information to somebody, you know, like effective tax rate.
Absolutely.
You know, when it's all said and done, if you pulled out the maximum amount of money, like in my case, if I had 106,000, I would have 7,300 bucks. That's not too bad, you know. And it goes against the narrative you hear all the time. People just complaining about taxes. It doesn't have to be that bad, you know, especially for working class people like us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not fat cats. So we should be able to control our income tax.
So a little bit of knowledge gives us a lot of power, but going forward blindly, like a lot of us do, myself included up until now, we pay a lot because we don't pay attention, and there's a system. That kind of goes into one of the questions I had for you too, about like when you hear people kind of complaining about taxes or complaining about different things, what are some of like the biggest behaviors you think get in our own way, like or our own psychology that kind of gets in our own way with building wealth?
Well, I'm just off the top of my head. I see a lot of people have too much house, too much in their cars. Those are big payments. And just, you have to remember those payments are always made with after-tax dollars. So when you have to take your paycheck to service your debt, make your payments, your flexibility on managing your income, like I'm describing here, it's not that easy, you know. And you know, I was there at one time. I think my at a 2,200 square foot home, I think I was at $1,100 a month mortgage, which is nothing in New York. I get it, but my salary was not a New York salary.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got a smaller home and a smaller mortgage, like the one I have now, it's a $500 difference. Well, that $500, that's a big difference in a paycheck for a teacher. And I see people driving really nice trucks and vehicles down here. Some of them are like mortgage payments, I'm sure, are close. It's just a lot of debt to carry. And I would say those 2 factors, plus just financial fatalism. You know, people don't have a plan. They can't envision it's possible to build wealth. They've been told that we're educators. We took a vow of poverty somewhere. You know, it's just kind of a toxic brew. You know, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for many people. That's why I just kind of lay the numbers out and talk about what I've done. Not that I'm a genius or anything. It's just I got tired of being broke, you know, and just like money being a mystery. You know, I had 3 college degrees, could speak Spanish and Portuguese, and I'm broke all the time. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing, you know, but I know I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm. I know it's hard, like, and I went through this and I still struggle with it a little bit sometimes when you feel like you're working a lot and you're stressed all the time, you got all this going on, like, I deserve whatever, like, I deserve a newer car, I deserve whatever. It's like, we're working hard, we're earning money, but you also deserve a retirement. So if you're going to use the word deserve for anything, like, or, you know, it seems, I tell myself, you deserve to retire without so much stress. So don't focus on the car. Don't focus on the, whatever else. If it's paid off, write it to for me, that's what I'm telling myself.
Oh, yeah. And I agree. We work hard enough in our professions that we do deserve nice things. And that's why I always say, we deserve to pay ourselves first. I pay, the retirements for future me, and the 457 money we talked about last time, just the flexible freedom it gives me, that just takes a lot of weight off my mind. I know if something happened, I lost my job, got a lot of money I can pull from, and I could make it. My wife and I could make it to our pensions kick in. So it just changes your attitude about a lot of things at work. And don't get me wrong, work it can be a pressure cooker. It's just a lot of activity, and your mind space is always occupied. And for example, I start basketball on Monday, and there's so many like loose parts I have to get together, like practice schedules and make sure everybody's physicals in. It just goes on and on and on. But
Mm-hmm.
it's part of being a teacher and a coach. So that's why I say, I want to take care of me and my family, because I know I've worked hard and done a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't expect it just to work out and
Right.
everything to fall into place, which a lot of people do, which is kind of crazy to me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm stuck at the end and stuck at retirement. Like, what happened? Why can't I,
Yeah.
mortgage payments, or why can't I do this? Like, there should be something here for me. But we got to
Yeah.
make
Well,
those plans. As hard as it is, we got
yeah.
to make those plans.
Well, and then let me just say this: I'm 57 now, almost 57, and I teach at a really good place, but like your vigor is not the same as you're older.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to do this job because I had to do it, ooh, that'd be a tough place mentally for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
think at a minimum, everyone should save just to avoid that type
Yep.
of mental stress. You don't want to be the guy who stayed too long.
Yeah.
We know what we're talking about.